This is Mac OS Ken.
Charting Apple growth in India, a crossroads in the metaverse, and considering the future of two Apple originals. It is Wednesday, the 27th of July, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. Learn more and try it for free at KOLIDE, collide.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. I really consider the sponsorships I take for this show. I'm especially fond of the ones that can really help people. That's one reason I am happy and proud that Upstart is a sponsor. I get to help them help you. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, Upstart can help you get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score. That's why Upstart's model also considers additional factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score, and you can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Don't wait and check your rate today at upstart.com/macOSKen. UPSTART, that's upstart.com/macOSKen to check your rate today. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/macOSKen. Apple's next bright spot may be the subcontinent. Business Standard has word of explosive growth for iPhone in India. The piece has Cyber Media Research, or CMR, saying Apple sold an estimated 1.2 million iPhones in India in the June quarter, 1 million of which were made domestically. Not a huge number by iPhone standards, not a huge number compared to India's population of 1.3 billion, and yet, if accurate, it represents growth of 94% year-on-year. Through the course of the second quarter, says the Business Standard article, Apple continued its India market momentum with a stupendous year-on-year growth driven by increased local iPhone manufacturing. The iPhone 12 series, along with the iPhone 13 series, accounted for the most iPhones shipped into the market. And there is plenty of room to grow. CMR puts iPhone's current share of the smartphone market in India at 4%. Also seeing a bit of growth last quarter was iPad. CMR has sales of Apple's tablet in India coming in at a tiny-sounding roughly 200,000 units. Small to be sure, but it was still up 34% versus the same quarter a year earlier. It's also said by CMR to account for 20% of India's tablet market. There is no more Intel inside MacBook Air. Mac Rumors says Apple has replaced the Intel-made controller for the USB and Thunderbolt ports, replacing it with something custom-made. Maybe custom-made by Apple, maybe custom-made for Apple. Whatever the case, Apple is one step closer to completing its transition away from the processor giant. Now, there is still one sizable step to take. Apple's beefiest machine, the Mac Pro, still sports Intel inside. That machine and its lack of transition made a bit of news on Tuesday. A piece from Apple Insider had Bloomberg's Mark Gurman saying on the Max Tech YouTube channel that there will not be an M1-powered MacBook Pro, though there could have been. Gurman says the Cupertino company had one ready, but apparently decided to hold off on that move opting instead to transition Mac Pro with something in an M2 processor. Kind of makes sense, I guess, but isn't this always going to be an issue? I mean, isn't there always going to be a better processor on the way? Anyway, you can hear what Gurman had to say and scope the rest of the interview on YouTube. Apple's 2FA code generator for iCloud has made its way to the Windows world. For those unfamiliar, says a piece from 9to5Mac, a two-factor authentication, or 2FA code, is an additional layer of security that can be requested when logging into a website or app. These codes can be generated by password managers such as 1Password, LastPass, and iCloud Keychain. Okay, that's what it is, though not why. Basically, while bad guys getting your username-password combo may not be easy, if they do, they've got access to your stuff. Requiring a second factor to authenticate makes accessing your info a harder thing for bad guys to do. Talked about this a lot on the checklist by Secure Mac. Worth checking out if you'd like to learn more. 9to5Mac says 2FA support was first added to iCloud Keychain with iOS 15 and macOS Monterey. Apple also updated its iCloud utility for Windows with a password manager last year, and yet there was no love from Apple for 2FA codes on the Windows side. But there is now. As noted by users on Reddit, notes 9to5Mac, the latest version of iCloud passwords for Windows, which comes as part of the iCloud utility for Windows, now works with two-factor authentication codes. The future of the metaverse took a couple of interesting turns on Tuesday, one rhetorical, the other dealing with economics. On the rhetorical side, a piece from The Verge had Facebook Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg participating in a question and answer session about the future of the metaverse. Last month, a number of tech companies, including Microsoft and Meta, and not including Roblox and Apple, founded an open standards group meant to increase platform interoperability for realities, augmented and virtual. Writing of the new organization in June, another piece from The Verge said the Metaverse Standards Forum is supposed to foster open, interoperable standards for augmented and virtual reality, geospatial, and 3D tech. Apple's absence from the org raised a question Tuesday from one of Zuckerberg's employees. How does that affect Oculus and our ecosystem? The CEO began his answer saying, I think it's pretty clear that Apple is going to be a competitor for us, not just as a product, but philosophically. The philosophical difference, the open approach being taken by Facebook and the Standards Forum versus the closed approach Apple is practically bound to take. According to Zuckerberg, this is a competition of philosophies and ideas, where they believe that by doing everything themselves and tightly integrating, that they build a better consumer experience. And we believe that there is a lot to be done in specialization across different companies, and that will allow a much larger ecosystem to exist. I will say, if we believe what we've heard about Apple's AR/VR philosophy, a closed system makes sense. Early in 2022, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said he'd been told that the idea of a completely virtual world where users can escape to, like they can in Meta Platforms' Facebook's vision of the future, is off limits from Apple. Apple was said to be targeting bursts of gaming, communication, and content consumption, not an all-day device. If the play is not for a metaverse, interoperability may not be a big deal. The other interesting thing about Zuckerberg's answer, while he obviously thinks his approach is the right one, he can't say so for sure. Two lines stick out on that. It's not really clear up front whether an open or closed ecosystem is going to be better, and I just don't think that the future is written here yet for the metaverse. Interestingly, on the same day Zuckerberg wonders over the meta future, his company may have done something to mess up its chances. Meta announced higher prices on the way for its Oculus hardware on Tuesday. In a statement on Twitter, the company said, "In order to continue investing in moving the VR industry forward for the long term, we are adjusting the price of the Meta Quest 2 headsets to $399.99 for the 128GB model and $499.99 for the 256, starting on the 1st of August. Hard to blame them, #in this economy. But one industry watcher thinks the move could screw them up. Responding to the announcement, TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo hit Twitter saying, "The more affordable price has been a critical competitive advantage for the Quest 2 versus competitors. Since Meta's VR ecosystem is still insufficient to attract users, the price hike of Quest may hurt the demand and its hardware supply chain shipments." More news in a moment, but first a word from Collide, endpoint security powered by people. Collide provides easy-to-understand self-remediation instructions to crowdsource your IT and security objectives while educating your employees. Lots of big words for a pretty simple idea. Collide meets your people where they are, on their smartphone, their tablet, their computer. Collide sends your workforce important, timely, and relevant security recommendations for their Linux, Mac, and Windows devices right in Slack. That is your people keeping your environment secure with guidance, not guardrails. See, Collide believes that end users are your IT department's most significant, untapped resource. Getting them active and engaged, making them part of your security solution, that'll make your work environment safer and more secure. Find out more and activate Collide's 14-day free trial. Visit collide.com/macOSKen to sign up today. That's KOLIDE.com/macOSKen. Enter your email when prompted to receive your free Collide gift bundle after trial activation at collide.com/macOSKen. Something old, something new for Apple's latest London store. The Cupertino company has run an online preview for its Brompton Road store, which opens its doors tomorrow, Thursday, the 28th of July. What's old is the location. Apple's release says visitors entered the store through the central arcade, which mirrors the dimensions of the original Brompton arcade, built on the same precise location in 1903. What's new is the dedicated pickup area. Inspired perhaps by the pandemic, maybe by the cluster thing pickup at other Apple stores can be, the preview says the dedicated Apple pickup area is the first for a UK Apple store, making it more convenient for customers to pick up products ordered online. So I guess it was the cluster thing. For folks in the area, the Brompton Road location has special events planned for the weekend. Those include talks, musical performances, and a Q&A with a few Fitness Plus trainers and Apple VP of Fitness Technologies, Jay Blahnik. That'll be capped by a 3-kilometer walk and 5-kilometer run in Hyde Park, because nothing says come to our store like please run away from our store. A couple of interesting deadline stories tied to Apple Originals. They come with a bit of a caveat, though. The stories, about 2 of Apple's biggest and most anticipated films, are part of a new Deadline column called The Dish. The column is meant to let Deadline journalists plant their flag in deals, hires, and firings and industry developments before they're fully baked. Makes it sound shakier than secret sources say, but away we go. We may have several seasons to wait before Killers of the Flower Moon is out. The Deadline column says the Martin Scorsese-directed film, starring Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, may be held until 2023. Nothing negative. The powers that be are simply looking for the splashiest road to an Oscar rather than the quickest. The film-watching world had expected a late 2022 release, targeting the 2023 Academy Awards. Now folks behind the film are said to be considering a premiere at Cannes in 2023. That would be followed by a traditional theatrical release on many, many screens before finally settling in to streaming. True or false? Time will tell. And finally today, signs of life for one of Apple's most troubling titles. The same Deadline dish piece as the Antoine Fuqua-directed film Emancipation may see a premiere this year. Set in the mid-1800s and based on an actual person, Emancipation tells the story of Peter, an enslaved man who escapes to the north, then joins the Union Army. Dramatic as that story is, it was photographs of Peter's back, scarred from a near-fatal beating that made him famous and gave the world what Deadline calls a gruesome testament to the barbarity and cruelty of slavery in the antebellum South. The film is said to be Fuqua's best since 2001's Training Day. It stars Will Smith, and there's the trouble. He's kind of Hollywood kryptonite since walking on stage and punching Chris Rock at this year's Oscars. But Deadline says the film is done. Sources say it's been tested numerous times and gotten very high scores. It could still be out in time for next year's Oscars, according to people said to know something about something. Apple offered Deadline no comment on either story. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. Learn more and try it for free at KOLIDE collide.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.